Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The court case going on at the High Court with regards to the VAT on private school fees. It's finished its first day. We're going to its second day. It's probably going to finish on Thursday. Looking forward to the result of that. And I mentioned that in an earlier video that if the court finds on the side of the parents, it could scupper VAT on school fees in total. Far too late for some schools. However, it has emerged that councils across England and Wales have, in the last 3 years alone, spent a combined total of, deep breath, because you're not going to believe this, 3.7 billion with a B on sending children with special needs and disabilities, the SEND descend children, to private schools. This is astonishing. 3.7 billion of public money going to these schools because the councils cannot provide for them. And now the Treasury are trying to put the VAT on this, which will mean that parents and whatever who can just about afford school fees now won't be able to afford them and will have to take their children out. Well, the only option now then is that they will have to go to the local councils who don't have the facilities, and the local councils will be required by law to send those same children back to the very schools that they've just been taken out of. But this time, instead of the parents paying the bills, the council will have to pay the bills, including the VAT. And that will leave the parents a lot better off, won't it? Because they won't have any school fees to pay. It's super clever what they're doing, isn't it? Now, of course, if the case that's being heard does say that you can't put VAT on to children with special educational needs, then you can't put it on anyone because of the Equalities Act, which I mentioned before. But more than 80% of SEND children go to mainstream state schools, of course. But for those who have particular needs that can't be met in those schools, off to private education. That means 20% of them privately educated, and the local council is required, as I say, by law to do this. Now, you could argue it would mean that maybe the councils ought to open up their own special educational needs schools in order to provide for that. Yes, they could. However, the school budgets have just been cut by the same government, and there will be no more school building for the remainder of this parliament. Yeah, genius, isn't it? Absolute geniuses that are running this country. You couldn't make it up. And why? Politics of envy. That's all it is. Let me know what you think. Thanks very much. Bye.